The most hardest process to go through as an indie author is editing. When I say I hate editing, I wrote that book for 90 days and 90 nights. What do you mean I have to reread that book again and again and again? With my first book and my second book at that, I was so fucking tired of these characters that I came to a point where I'm just like, I'm putting this bitch out, whether it is purely edited or not. I don't know if y'all catch typos, but oh well. But at this point, if you're writing your book and you're scared of editing or you don't know where to find an editor, I'm here to help you because it's the most strenuous process ever. And if you self-edit, God, you are one of God's favorites, because how the fuck do you do that? Welcome back to the Cre8tive Shift. My name is Monique Goode. I'm a Black queer romance author, and I'm using my series The Cre8tive Shift to share tips with you to share with you my journey of becoming a full-time indie author, as well as tips for indie authors, writers, and creatives. And so today we're going to be talking about editing. So recently on Threads, there has been a conversation about people putting out a bunch of books and AI being incorporated and all this other stuff. But it got me thinking, like, all indie authors that put out so many books a year, how are y'all doing it? Because the editing tab, but the budget, the tab gets real big. Like, it cost me like $300 to $400 for one book. I could not imagine shelling that out on a regular basis. And then I don't plan. I'm like, I have this book idea I'm going to start today. Can I find an editor? And come to find out, on Threads, I am way behind when it comes to planning. This is a post that I created, being very inquisitive about, I need some advice. And based off the advice and people sharing their experience on how they're putting out so many books and how they're getting it edited and proofread and things of that nature, I want to share with you things that I learned. Now, if I look down, I'm looking at my computer, so mind your business, because this is my phone. So yeah. So the first feedback that I received was to pay an editor on a monthly basis, so that way you can have consistent edits. So if you have an editor, a lot of editors I did not know offer monthly fees, and a lot of times it's at a discount rate, or they also offer payment plans for you to get their editor services on a regular basis, especially if you're consistently putting out work. Now, this may be great for the indie author that is writing 12 books a year, or maybe somebody like me that is randomly coming up with ideas. This is really good opportunity. Editing yourself and also utilizing your beta readers and your proofreaders. This is what I'm currently doing. So previously I did use editors, but I've also had troubles with the editors that I've been working with. So I've been leaning more into my beta readers and my ARC readers. And one of my friends, she's so amazing. Shout out to Mia. It does my proofreads. She also did the editing in my most recent book. So it's been a great opportunity to be able to lean into the support system that I do have to find an opportunity for people to just support me in different ways. So if you are a new indie author, you don't have a budget, and maybe you have a group of people that you can rely on and trust, self-editing may be strenuous, but it is a great opportunity to utilize your resources and the people that have strong suits, whether it be reading different kinds of books. They're great at editing. They're great at story building, finding plot holes. Lead into that community until you do get the budget, or you're able to save up enough money to get an editor, or maybe you don't even need to, because apparently, to the comments, a lot of well-known authors are doing self-editing. For me personally, that's not my goal in life, because I'd just be overwhelmed. But until I'm able to until I'm able to get a larger budget and plan properly, that's the avenue that I'm going to be taking. You need to plan a year in advance. As much as I love to believe myself to be a planner, this one is difficult for me, because I usually have in my mind the books that I want to put out. But thinking a year in advance gives me the heebie-jeebies, because that means that I have to commit to a deadline. But I think it's the smartest way to go, because this is in tandem with the second one, which is, if you know you're going to be putting out multiple books a year and you find a consistent editor that you could possibly put on call, or also have a backup editor for when your on-call editor is no longer available. So if you're the type of person that is going to be putting out books regularly throughout the year, whether it's once a month, a few times a year, however long, it's great to plan in advance. Know what books you're going to be putting out. go ahead and put that on your calendar with your editor so you can give yourself deadlines, which is really good opportunity, because then you're able to say, I need to finish this book by this deadline, and it gives you a structure, it gives you a system, and it allows you to be consistent with your writing, but also, you know, explore other creative endeavors that you desire to do. That I would love to be my goal, to be able to plan all my books in advance, be clear and know what I'm doing, and then having an editor already on call is amazing, because that's the dream, right? Editing for yourself. You can also edit it and then have an editor proofread. This is good, especially if you do have a smaller budget. Editing, there's different forms of editing, but when it comes to editing a book, if you want them to do a proofread, it's going to be a lot more affordable than doing a full line edit. If I'm not mistaken, full blown edits is a line edit, which they go line by line editing your book. Developmental edits, which I feel like has to do with the plot of the story, how the pacing is, and things of that nature. And usually at the end, there is a proofread when you get to your final editing piece. It's great to consider editing yourself, and then once you're at a point where you feel like you're ready to hand it over, have your editor just proofread your work to check for any grammatical errors, so by the time they're done, you can put it out. It's going to be a lot more affordable than having a full-blown edit done. So it just depends on what you need and what your budget is. And lastly, using an editing software like ProWriting Aid. ProWriting Aid is something that I've learned about. I think I've started a membership, but I never really tapped into it because I was utilizing editing service at the time. But I think I'm really going to get back into ProWriting Aid. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to start exploring different editing softwares to see what works best and share it with you guys. Because right now I'm using I'm using Google Docs and Grammarly, but I find that the more and more I write, the slower the server becomes. And I need to find a software in which I can write my book and then transfer it over to the software and it can be edited. We'll see what happens. So yeah, if you are on your own editing journey as an indie author, I hope some of these tips have helped you. It has been a lot in a long time that I've been talking to you. But thanks for sticking around. And if you're interested for more information, please head over to our Substack to learn more about the Cre8tive Shift, our creative services to help indie authors, as well as my journey and my diary on my journey to being a full-time indie author. Also, if you want to support your girl, I have a new book out on Kindle. It's Roll the Dice. It is a sapphic strip club, and it's P Valley meets the L Word. That's all you need to know, and I'll see you in the next one.